Okay, guys, so today I'm going to do some listing paperwork for you. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the actual process that we walk through whenever we are getting listing paperwork put together to get it signed. So I'll go through this in as much detail as I can, and if you have any questions, come find one of us. Okay, so first thing you need to know is your address, obviously your seller's names, as much details as you can on the house. But the first step you always go to is I go to the MLS and I go to add listing. Now this should be in your quick search bar up here. If it's not, you can go to menu, add listing. If you hit the star, it'll show up and stay up here. So go to add listing. Now, if the house has been listed before, I would recommend pulling the listing up so you have all the details on it in one spot. This particular property has not been listed before, so I'll kind of show you some tricks and shortcuts to find the information that you need. Now, co-listing agents, if you have a co-listing agent, you'd write them in here. If not, then you just leave it blank and go to the next screen. So enter as much information as you can. 5641 South Row, nope. And then county is Greene. City is Springfield. Zip code 65810. Inside city limits. I'm pretty sure that it's not. So populate tax data. 5641 South Roanoke, auto populate. Come on. Okay. Now the nice thing about the tax ID showing up is it'll auto populate a lot of information for you. So make sure that the location is right. If it's not the right location, please move it to the right location. That's frustrating as an agent if the map shows the wrong spot. Also, if you think about this, if someone is searching based on a map in an area and your house is not in the right area, you will not show up in that search. So just make sure it is the right location. Okay, then it's going to take you automatically to the next screen. Now, at this point right now, you could hit Save Incomplete and print this off and do all this information later. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take this to the sellers and fill it out. I typically will go through and fill out, kind of what I know as far as just some of these blanks here. In order to get the listing live, all of the highlighted lines have to be filled out. Agreement type is exclusive right to sell. Sign on property, yes. See it automatically populated the taxes for me. Here's the sellers' names, Michael and Karen. Occupant is the owner. Occupant name, Mike and Karen. Okay, and then you could just stop there if you wanted to, or you can go to the next screen and fill out this information. You do want to make sure that you double check and really sit down with the sellers and go through and fill out all these boxes, because if you fill it out and you put it into the MLS wrong, so for example, if you say, if the refrigerator stays, the buyers are expecting the refrigerator to stay. And if the sellers didn't mark this box and they think the refrigerator does not stay, you get the opportunity to buy a new refrigerator for your clients. So for now, I'm just going to hit Save Incomplete. So I'm going to actually take this paperwork with me. If you were getting it filled out over the phone and getting it signed electronically, you would just save all this to the transaction desk and then you can sign it that way, and I'll show you how to do that. But I'm actually just going to go and print this right now. You can always come back and access this later if you have to, but okay. So now that we're done with the MLS, I'm going to hop over to transaction desk. I'm going to show you the process to start a new transaction if you have the sellers. I always label it the property address template would be seller. And if you had the buyer, you'd want to put in the MLS number so it auto-populates all the information. And now it's going to pull up 5 screens for you, and the goal is to fill out as much information as you can on these 5 screens. That way it auto-populates all of that information as you're filling out the paperwork. Okay, so the address is 5641 South Roanoke, Springfield, 65810. Okay, that's good. Transaction dates, I don't really fill this out, don't know many of the dates yet. This is where you put all of the contacts in. So right now, our contacts are our sellers. The goal would be to have both of their email addresses at this point, but just put in whatever information you know, and then you can always update it later. It's thinking. I'm thinking. Here we go. Create new transaction contact. So this is going to be the seller. First name is Michael Corporal. I don't have his email, so I'm just going to hit save. And then I'm going to add Karen. And you want to make sure the names are spelled right, because this is how it's going to show up on all the paperwork. Corporal, her email, MCCORCLEK. Now, I will say this. So if it's a trust or an LLC or someone signing as a power of attorney, you can write their preferred signature here. So you could write Karen McCorkle, POA, or whatever, trustee, whatever it is, and that's how it would show up when they sign. If you just leave it blank, it's just going to show up their first and last name. Okay, next is going to be all of the forms. These are the forms we need to list the house as far as contracts, seller's disclosure statements, things like that. So I'm just going to go through all the ones that we need, fill them out, so that way I can print them off and we're good to go. We don't charge a base fee. If you do, write it in there. Write the commission in here. I always recommend putting 6, and then even if you're going to reduce it, you've already agreed to that. I still put 6, and then I cross through it when I'm with them and have them initial. That way they actually see the action of you reducing the commission. Otherwise, they don't really understand it. So motivating factors does, they are downsizing. So that's why they're selling their house. Disclosure and pending offers does. Most of this should be auto-populated for you. You see how the address auto-populated? It's because we filled out the information earlier. This should all be good. If you had any special agreements right now, you would write them in. If not, you can write them in person. This would be exclusions. This would be, the contract expires in 30 days, whatever it is, just write it in there. That's not covered by the stuff that's already written in there. The address, for some reason, it does not auto-populate there. So there you go. All right, now that's good. So I'm gonna save it and then go back to the forms and just kind of keep on going down the list there as far as all the forms that we need. The seller's disclosure statements, you really can't fill much out on that right now. That would just be in person whenever you're with them. So disclosure of lead-based paint, you will need this if the house was built prior to 1978. Broker's appointment of designated agent. There's really not much on this except for the address and their names. I will point out a couple things for you. It does not auto-populate their names, so just write it in. And then you'll want to add myself as a signee or write my name in here with the date as far as broker signature. Okay, so we're going to go back to the forms. We're going to keep filling these out as far as all the forms that we need to list the property. Of course, disclosure, if it was a well and septic, you want a well and septic disclosure as well. Measurement disclaimer, we're going to want to fill that out as far as where we got the square footage from. Missouri Broker Disclosure Form, they just need to initial that one. And then right now the COVID forms, which is this one right here for the listing, that they are authorizing us to list the house and allow people to show it. If you had any documents, you could upload it here. So if you were going to get all this signed electronically, you would upload the data input form that we filled out earlier to the document section, so we can send all the paperwork out for signatures. Otherwise, just hit done. And then since I'm getting this signed in person, I'm going to click all of the information or all the documents that I need to get signed. That one there. Okay, and then I'm just going to print them off. Print. Make sure it's in black and white. That'll cost you. Okay, so printing that. Now, if you were going to, like I said, if you're going to get it signed electronically, you could just go straight to signing, send it to your clients. I always recommend still calling them and going over all the paperwork with them over the phone while they're looking at it. That way there's no confusion or anything like that. So that is all the paperwork you need to get a house listed. And then I will tell you, once you go to your clients, you get everything signed, you have all the information, you come back, you are going to, I'll show you this. So if you've already started the listing, you go to My Incomplete now, click on the actual address, edit, and once you have photos, you upload the photos. Once you have the seller's disclosure statement signed, put them there. All the listing information is on the data sheet that you filled out. You go through and you check all the boxes, make sure it's all filled out, complete and accurate, and then you hit Add Listing. Once you hit Add Listing, if all of the necessary information is in here, it will automatically put it on the MLS. So that's how you fire a listing live, is what we say. And then in Transaction Desk, you would upload everything that's signed, all the listing paperwork into your document section, and then submit for review. Okay, all right, guys. So I hope that helps. If you need to list a house, that's really a quick guide to guide you through all of the paperwork and the proper steps to actually list that. So thanks so much. Have a good day.